Donald Trump's former fix-it lawyer, Michael Cohen, has officially been sentenced, and his sentence will force him to spend 3 years behind bars. Now, Cohen was sentenced to 3 years for what a Manhattan federal court judge called a veritable smorgasbord of criminal conduct, including making secret payments to women who claimed they had affairs with Trump, lying to Congress about the president's business dealings with Russia, and failing to report millions of dollars in income. Now, Michael Cohen offered a tearful plea for mercy, and I mean, who knows if he thinks that this is a short sentence. I think 3 years is short considering all the different things that he was found guilty of. But he says, I've been living in a personal and mental incarceration ever since the day that I accepted the offer to work for a real estate mogul whose business acumen that I deeply admired.
So I want to say a couple of things about it. First, Michael Cohen's not very bright because he thought Trump had business acumen. The guy went bankrupt 6 times. He's a total buffoon. Anybody can see it after spending a couple of minutes with him. So let's just keep it real. Number 2, Michael Cohen's incredibly greedy, and he returned $2 million to the government. That means he had way more than $2 million, and this schlep got it how? Through all those deals with Donald Trump. And so he made a deal with the devil. And so that's gonna lead into the most important part is what else does Michael Cohen know? But I do wanna say that I at least understand what he's saying about how he felt captured in Donald Trump's orbit. Because this is something I've been talking a lot about lately on Old School and the Post Game and all these other things about gaslighting. And Trump's a huge gaslighter because he blames everything on everyone else. So once you get into his orbit, if you're a weak-minded guy like Michael Cohen, he makes it seem like it's your fault for everything. And how dare you do all these things to screw up Donald Trump's plans. When in reality, he's screwing up his own plans. He's a total moron, right? So that leads me back to Lanny Davis, his attorney, Michael Cohen's attorney, saying that after the investigations are all wrapped up, that he will state publicly all he knows. And there's reference in the sentencing agreements to what might happen later. So how many criminal enterprises did Michael Cohen enter into with Donald Trump? You think it's just those 2, the campaign finance violations and the Moscow deal? No way. How did they get all those millions of dollars in the first place, right? Michael Cohen had nothing, and now he's got all that money. We're forfeiting $2 million isn't that big a deal to him, right? Yep. So is he gonna let us know about the other criminal deals? To me, that's the most important thing there is. There's no force on earth that will get me to believe that the only 2 illegal things that Michael Cohen and Donald Trump did together was Trump Tower in Moscow talks and the payoffs to the mistresses.
Now, what I found interesting about all of this was the assistant US attorney in this case did not want any type of mercy when it came to the sentence. The prosecutors asked for a stiff sentence because they felt that he was actually not being as forthright and he was not cooperating in a way that would allow for mercy in the sentencing. However, when it came to Mueller's investigation, the tone was different, okay? So someone representing Mueller's investigation, it was actually the special counsel's office, Jeanine Rhee, she's a prosecutor with the special counsel's office. She actually told the judge that Cohen had, quote, provided consistent and credible information about core Russia-related issues under investigation by their office. Now that's all we know. There weren't any specifics offered or any details offered there. But the reason why I bring that up is because it appears that Cohen has shared some very helpful information with the special counsel's investigation in Russian meddling and obstruction of justice. So we'll see how that plays out in the future. But I mean, he's got some dirt on Trump. There's no question about that, and I think he's offered that.
So I just want to make it clear why there's 2 different prosecutions here. Mueller is only dealing with things that are related to the Russia collusion in the election. And on that alone, he's got over 50 indictments already, and a number of people who pleaded guilty, including the president's lawyer, former national security advisor, and former campaign manager, right? The other prosecutors are dealing with non-Russian election-related stuff, like the payoffs to the mistresses. That has nothing to do with Russia. So Mueller says, that's not my business. I found some evidence on it. He hands it off to the Southern District of New York. Those federal prosecutors follow up on that. They also have him on hiding money from the IRS, lying on bank loan applications. Again, not related to the Russia investigation, but different crimes that Michael Cohen did. So that's why Mueller says, well, on the Russia stuff, he gave me good information on the Trump Tower meeting in Moscow, and that's potentially a way for the Russian government to pay off a presidential candidate after he's won the Republican nomination. That's amazing. Look, the fact that Trump lied about it and Cohen lied about it is deeply problematic to begin with, but did the Russians intend to literally bribe a presidential candidate? That's a massive crime and really interesting. And then there's the other crimes, and in the case of the campaign finance violations, the payoffs, Cohen says, and now David Pecker from American Media Incorporated, that's the National Enquirer, they say, yes, on Karen McDougal, we also did a payoff. And yes, it was intended to affect the election. So hence it is clearly illegal, and they did it at the direction of Donald Trump. So now that's a felony, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Even Judge Napolitano on Fox News saying, look, it's a violation of law. I don't know what you want me to tell you, but the federal prosecutors say they have excellent evidence and witnesses who say that he ordered the commission of a crime. And meanwhile, Democrats are like, I don't know, impeachment, oh my God, how will that affect my political future? Ay, ay, ay. I mean, are you gonna let the president be above the law?
Yeah, they are. And just touching on National Enquirer for a minute. So AMI, which is the parent company for National Enquirer, will apparently not have to deal with similar consequences as Cohen. So after the sentencing, the US Attorney's Office in New York revealed it had struck a non-prosecution agreement with National Enquirer publisher AMI earlier this year for its $150,000 payout to one of Trump's mistresses, former Playboy model Karen McDougal. Now, AMI further admitted that its principal purpose in making the payment was to suppress the woman's story so as to prevent it from influencing the election. So it's amazing how many different people around Donald Trump have already admitted to wrongdoing or have been convicted of wrongdoing. But Trump, because he's the president, remains untouchable for the time being.
Yeah, and so there's a case to be made according to previous Justice Department conclusions that the Justice Department cannot indict a sitting president. But could other folks indict a sitting president? That's a good question. Could he be indicted after he leaves office? That's a good question. And there is another avenue other than indictment for a president who has flouted the law, clearly broken the law. That's called impeachment. That's how you get him out of office for high crimes and misdemeanors. And this is obviously way past the misdemeanor. It's a felony. Both Michael Cohen and National Enquirer saying, yes, we did an illegal payment at the direction of Donald Trump, and it was to influence an election. It could not be any clearer. If they had said that about you, you'd already be in prison, guaranteed. Thanks for watching this free clip of the Young Turks. Don't forget to become a TYT member today. For more exclusive content, join now at tyt.com/join.